Get upset on the internet. You're a salt adult. You're a salt adult. Get upset on the internet. You're a salt adult. Throwing out a hissy fit, your views ain't in the millions, and every up and comer is a threat to what you're dealing. And instead of getting better, you just spout up on your Facebook, crying on your Twitter bit about how bad your case look. In case you didn't get it yet, allow me to rephrase it. Your grandma than my 4-year-old, I'm actually amazed. Like you couldn't even see the forest for the trees. The writing's on the wall, literally there to see. How you getting sold that a culture blowing up, man? I think there was a point where you stopped growing up, man. Instead of showing up, man, irrationally mad. Don't appropriate impression like the latest fashion fad. It isn't cool or funny to be acting like an edgelord. You alienate friends, pushing closer to the edge more. I don't know how to say it anyway to make it clear. If you're the one unhappy, then the problem's in the mirror. Get upset on the internet. You're a salt adult. You're a salt adult. Get upset on the internet. You're a salt adult. The net is a repository for the vast expanses of human knowledge and all the technological advances. And I can't say enough how you gotta be open-minded. Cause if you're looking for a fight, then you damn well find it. An axe needs grinding, you're not alone. There's a million other nerds who can bitch and moan and groan about how there's a release date delay of the new game. Man, decrease the cliche of your neckbeard. I'm afeared of the intensity of your love for two characters. You claim I've got some chemistry and they belong together every other show.
Hi everybody and welcome to the Retro Station 1989. I'm Commander Dan, the commander and lone human inhabitant aboard the Retro Station, and this is License to Play. And today, we didn't get canceled. That's right, which is good, I guess. But hey, not for lack of trying, right? And I've been contemplating the first question I was going to ask the hologrammatic help wrestler, too. But I've still got questions in my head about that. I only get 3 questions, you see. And this week, since we're still flying high, I'm going to use the gift that Margot and the fellas got me for something useful. Alright, so we'll hold off on that.
Commander Dan, we're still getting comments and complaints regarding the last evaluation. Apparently Mickey Mouse strikes a nerve with some people.
Yeah, I saw the news from Florida. Looks like messing with the mouse was a pretty stupid idea. I mean, come on, dumb decision on their part. But hey, we love the mouse up here, right? Were any of the complaints that we got from the sponsors from Planet X?
Negative, Commander.
Then we shall carry on, Margot. And this week, all those sweet, sensitive souls who were just trembling at the thought of talking about Walter Disney, or Mickey Old Mouse, or Donald the Dak, or whatever else, will be placated, I'm sure. Because this week, our license takes us back. All the way back in history. Back to 1979. That's right, 90s kids. You thought I was going to throw you right into things because you think you know every damn thing. And I got news for you, kid. There were events that occurred prior to 1995, shocking as that may be. I kid. But in 1979, television was progressing and getting a lot more sensitive about what was showing and who was being advertised to. From McDonald's to Saturday morning cartoons, parents' groups were concerned about the levels of violence, suggestive material, and all-around commercial crap being leveled at kids with both barrels. So on April Fool's Day 1979, Warner Cable launched the first two-way interactive cable system called Cube. Cube introduced things like pay-per-view, specialized services that would become known as streaming, and specialized channels that would show specific content. And one of those channels showed a program called Pinwheel. And that channel was called Nickelodeon. Wow, Nickelodeon, right? I didn't see that channel until 1984 at my Uncle Kevin's house. He was living in Georgia at the time. He had the full boat of cable channels, and we got to his house early in the morning one morning when we were traveling, and we watched the HBO First Look on Gremlins there. Another franchise I happily evaluated in the past for the NES, right here on License to Play. And right after that, this came on. So Pinwheel comes on that morning, and we watched it, dumbfounded, that there was actually a TV station just for kids. It blew our tiny little minds. We were shocked that such a thing could exist. But around 2 p.m. that day, we heard this music. That's You Can't Do That on television, and we were hooked. We bugged our parents to get cable. Every week we could. And with Eureka's Castle, today's special, You Can't Do That on Television, and Turkey TV, our childhoods were very entertaining indeed. And in the late 80s, Nickelodeon started venturing into cartoons. Now, these were cartoons like David the Gnome, which had the most horrifying ending to any cartoon in history. Look it up. And one of my favorites, The Mysterious Cities of Gold, and Looney Tunes. But in 1991, oh boy, Nicktoons. Folks, they started with Ren and Stimpy, Doug, and Rugrats. And all of this exploded into cartoons aplenty. Cat Dog, Angry Beavers, Ah Real Monsters, Rocko's Modern Life. Then came Cartoon Network, and we're looking at another giant cartoon from that time period, and that cartoon is The Wild Thornberrys. Now, I've evaluated titles by the Jonas Brothers, which was way after my time, and today we're looking at something that came after my time as well, a game based on The Wild Thornberrys. Now, the group that designed them, Glasky Kazupo, made cartoons that I did like. I mean, they did Rugrats. They helped out with a lot of other cartoons because back then, I did like Rugrats as a teenager because it was actually a pretty funny cartoon. And I was into animation back then, as I am now. I was a grown man when Wild Thornberrys came out, though. When that premiered, someone had just suggested, hey, you should check it out. And I was like, eh. But ever since we did that episode on Eek the Cat, I've gotten all kinds of requests for Wild Thornberrys, Rocko's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy. Trust me, folks, those are all coming as soon as I can get to them. We've got a long, long list right now. But anyway, let's take a look at the license for this week's evaluation. Nicktoons, specifically Ren and Stimpy and Rugrats, were probably the last cartoons I'd ever watch with any kind of regularity, outside of my love of the Batman animated series and the Paul Dini superhero cartoons. My son was born in 1997, and the Nicktoons explosion in popularity came soon after. Thornberrys, Rugrats, movies, toys, Happy Meal tie-ins. The Thornberrys were everywhere at one point. A good friend of mine said, you need to check out that cartoon, Dan. You'd like it. No way, thought I, because that was a baby cartoon for babies, and smaller, littler babies. Because I was basically a real Angelica back then about such things. But he insisted because the Wild Thornberrys patriarch was voiced by none other than Tim Curry. Folks, for my money, Tim Curry can do no wrong in voiceover work. The man is a legend. From Rocky Horror to Rooster and Annie. Anything the man appears in becomes, if not great, at least good. Let's go down the list, which I'm calling Better with Curry. Congo. Meh. With Curry. Hey, hey, hey. Home Alone 2. Ew. With Curry.
In front, sir. A limousine and a pizza. Compliments of the Plaza Hotel.
Chef Kiss Perfection. That's right. Cheese pizza. Command and Conquer. It's good, but with Curry, takes this one all the way to space. That's right. Fern Gully. Lame. But with Curry and Robin Williams, I don't care what nostalgic critics have to say. They're wrong. And wrong because everything is better with Curry because Tim Curry... All I'm saying is, my buddy Lauren only had to say it's got Tim Curry doing a voice, and I took a look at it. Okay, so the cartoon wasn't bad. It was cute, like a Swiss Family Robinson meets the Crocodile Hunter family meets The Life Aquatic, but not so terribly depressing, and honestly, the movie's great. Check it out if you get a chance, but it revolves around a family, like Klasky Kazupo's other big cartoon, Rugrats, and the family is a documentary TV family with a host Nigel Thornberry, his camerawoman wife Marianne, their teenage daughter Debbie, their adopted son Donnie, their younger daughter Eliza, who can talk to animals, and a monkey named Darwin. A monkey?
Haven't you always wanted a monkey?
Yes, I know that I've always wanted a monkey, though the reality is, monkey will rip your face off and wear it like a diaper, and the less said about that, the better. And the Thornberrys had a COM-V, too, a sweet motorhome that could transform. That was no surprise to me. I grew up in the 80s, all right? Basically, everybody, every a-hole with a semi-truck or a bare-knuckle boxing career had a damn monkey or a speedboat and a robot or a talking car or a weird-ass test Lamborghini convertible spaceship car and an old man. Man, the 80s were weird. The Wild Thornberrys' daughter Eliza has a classic superpower of animal empathy, and each episode basically revolves around sneakily educating kids, watching about specific animals while entertaining them with fun content. The show ran until 2003 and even had a Rugrats crossover movie. But today, we're talking about Wild Thornberrys Rambler for the Game Boy Color. I grabbed this little beauty for $2 last year at the Midwest Gaming Classic, which I'll be at this coming weekend. This is the weekend of March 31st, in case you don't know what date this is coming out. And basically I was catching new games for the Retro Station and meeting up with you wonderful folks out there and meeting up with other friends of mine from the internet. Hello to Tamara and Malcolm. Hi, guys. Now, that's coming up this weekend, so don't be a fool and miss it. If you're in the Milwaukee area, head over to the Milwaukee Convention Center. It's going to be there from March 31st through April 2nd. Now, I don't own a Game Boy Color, but I do own a Retron 5. So, that plays Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and regular Game Boy games. It's pretty sweet. So let's evaluate this little cart and see if Wild Thornberrys Rambler has a license to play. Okay, so this game. I played a little of it for about an hour on my Retron 5. I grabbed footage from reviews and playthroughs online, though, because I couldn't really get the Retron to agree with me that that game could be captured on my computer. Check out the Speedrunners and Nick Games reviews in the info below. I left links for their content, but let's just talk about the basics, okay? Because this game really just has that. That's it, the basics. The graphics are fine for a Game Boy Color game. I think they look fine. It's about what you'd expect. And honestly, the gameplay isn't half bad. Nigel's stage, where you're dodging venomous snake bites, and where you're climbing all over the place as Donnie or Eliza, I mean, they're serviceable, but while I've been talking and describing this game to you, I've also been letting a speedrunner show you just how very little there is to the single-player experience of this game. I mean, check that out. Now, the game is intended to be played with more than one player because it plays like a board game. I don't have any footage of that because nobody bothered to play it like that. I mean, this guy beats the game and the whole thing in 6 minutes. First, that's dedication to your craft and to a game that's pretty basic. But the question is not, is this person insane for all their content here? I mean, insane in all of their membranes. No, that's not the question. No, neither is the question, where's the joy in such a feat of such minuscule proportions? No. The real question, of course, is, so, Wild Thornberrys Rambler. Does this little baby have a license to play? No. Sadly, no. The graphics are good. The music's fine. I mean, it's got fine sound effects. It's a Game Boy game, so I'm not going to hold it to a very high standard when it comes to any of those things. It's a portable game. And it's got little bites of fun there, but it's just not enough. I mean, if you're a fan of this license, this game doesn't do it justice. I mean, for one, not even one clip of Tim Curry. I mean, come on, people. Tim Curry. It's better with Curry, you understand? But in all seriousness, no, there's just not enough of the game to go around. I mean, I know that you can link up two Game Boys and make it a fun little board game, but then that just tells you exactly what this is actually a bunch of little mini games you can beat in about, if you really try, 10 minutes. So, unfortunately, no, Wild Thornberrys Rambler does not have a license to play, but there were other Wild Thornberrys games, so I may take a look at those in the future as well. Anyway, we'll have to do that later because next week, well, we look at science fiction next week because it's April, and April is what month? That's Sci-Fi Month. And coming up next week and this weekend, March 31st through the 2nd, I'll be in Milwaukee making some sci-fi fun of my own, and I'll be running tabletop role-playing games, showing folks how to play Orc, Icons, or whatever you guys want. I'll also be doing commissions, so if you want some artwork, look me up. I'll be in the Warp Storm area for tabletop gaming. So, in the meantime, no matter what I've said during this broadcast, or back in the day, or in the future day, remember to always, always, always stay retro. Peace.
Get upset on the internet. You're a salt adult. Get upset.